Hello and welcome to another episode of Jig Retrospective. This time we'll actually be talking about modern video games. I know, shocking, but please be aware that these games are still very much retro in feel. I've pretty much always kept up with modern video game hardware, but somewhere in the PS4 and Xbox One era I just found myself getting fed up with these super realistic games that I just didn't find any fun. And I was also fed up with the day and a half to download some of these very large video games and not even being able to play the games multiplayer with a friend on a sofa. Most of these early releases felt like a demo, like part of a game, until the first full patch was released. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure these games are mighty impressive on a massive 4K TV, but just the generation before on the Xbox 360 you didn't tend to have this sort of problem. It felt like a big step back to me, and this was the sole reason why I ended up getting fully invested in gaming retrospectively and enjoying video games from the past. As the generation progressed, I found the indie scene, and this is where I think the generation has really flourished. These smaller developers have heard the call from gamers such as myself, and they've produced some stunning titles with the nod to all things retro. So here are a few games that I've been playing recently that I think deserve your recognition, and they can be enjoyed from any eShop that your current console has. No digging through old game shops, charity shops or car boot sales. This is easy access retro gaming goodness. A huge nod must go to Retro Renegade's Matt Garvey, who took me under his wing and showed me the way with this retro gaming goodness. So once you finish with this video, feel free to head over to his excellent YouTube channel. The first game that I simply have to bring to light is Xeno Crisis. By far my favourite game of 2019, and I truly never stopped playing this game since its release. What a cool game this is. A stunning Kickstarter project by Bitmap Bureau, who obviously have some serious passion for the old Sega Mega Drive, to release a brand new game in 2019 for a console that was decades out of circulation. Xeno Crisis is a twin-stick shooter game much like Smash TV, but in my opinion it surpasses that classic game in so many ways. Every room is procedurally generated, making every single game unique, and every level and every enemy so varied that you have to master and prioritise your alien slaying while avoiding bullets and attacks from all angles, just like any good bullet hell shooter. The art style gives huge variety to levels, from sand dunes to an alien nest to a lab. Screen filling end level bosses are satisfyingly daunting and tough to beat until you have paid your dues in learning their patterns. This game is an absolute blast in both one player and incredible in two player. Pickups include ammo, which arrives somewhere on the screen as your character begins to run low, grenades, a variety of weapons which are unlimited to use for a set time, including a flamethrower, a shotgun and a rocket launcher, among others. There are also occasional health pickups and dog tags which are used as currency between levels. There is even a strategy which has to be developed in which order you upgrade in. FYI, weapon power and health are basically essential to upgrade ASAP. Special mention goes to the music, which is composed by Savage Regime. Just listen to the bloody thing. A solid run will take you about 45 minutes, but don't worry, you will have to put in countless hours in order to get good enough to hang for that long. This game is so addictive that you will be coming back again and again. It's available for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and a slightly downgraded version for the Sega Mega Drive, which is completely understandable and still an incredible achievement. Unless playing both games side by side, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference. The Messenger is the second game I'd like to talk about, and it brings back that 80s ninja obsession, and frankly I know little about the development of this phenomenal title. The game just grabbed me and it wouldn't let go. The first half of the game is a tough NES style platform, much like Ninja Gaiden, with some stunning set pieces and some brutal moments where the ninja character has to literally be poetry in motion, and other moments where you won't find stable ground for quite a considerable time. The usual slash and wall jump mechanic are here, alongside a mechanic where you can jump after an attack or a hit of an object. Other abilities gained throughout the journey include wall climbing, gliding, and the use of a grappling hook, all of which need to be mastered in order to juggle your way through some extreme platforming sections. The deaths come thick and fast, but it doesn't really affect progression because checkpoints are regular and there is quick loading back into the action. The story starts simply enough, but the rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper the more you play, yet never taking itself too seriously, with lots of little laughs and tongue-in-cheek moments. The second half of the game didn't excite me as much as the first half of the game, which changes things up to this sort of vague Metroidvania style game, which I can closest link to Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Along the way there are time shifting puzzles during this half, which are on the whole relatively simple and enjoyable during these sections. During these sections the game aesthetics and soundtrack jump between 8 and 16-bit to follow suit, which is a nice touch. Overall, I found the second half of the game to be pretty tedious when compared to the stellar first half, but I did enjoy running through with a strategy guide. The score is noteworthy and composed by chiptune composer Rainbow Dragon Eyes. This is a classic 8-bit game. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon started life as a Kickstarter stretch goal for Koja Igarashi's spiritual follow-up to his fantastic Metroidvania-style Castlevania games, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. For me, in many ways, this is the game I was looking forward to and appreciated more. This is an 8-bit style action platformer game along the same vein as Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. This was a brilliant surprise for me when it came out in 2018, as I was already looking forward to Ritual of the Night, and being a huge fan of pretty much all old Castlevania titles, I was all over this. The game does not disappoint, and it can be set to a more casual style of game or a really hardcore NES hard style of game. You play as Zangetsu, and you quickly unlock 3 other characters whom you can quickly switch between in order to reverse the branching paths of each level and defeat bosses. Each has their own strengths and weaknesses in certain scenarios, and it's all part of the fun discovering who is best to utilise when and where. Or the other option is that you choose to kill all these people you meet and complete the whole adventure alone with Zangetsu, which is another way you can make the game even harder if you so wish. Along with the sword-wielding Zangetsu, there is a Belmont-esque whip wielder, a sorcerer Cypher style, and a vampire Alucard style. There are a few alternative endings depending on how you decide to complete the game, and it all comes together really well. Inticrates, who are a team made up of ex-Capcom employees, did an amazing job here, and it is highly recommended for fans of the original and especially Castlevania 3. I have a feeling this may well be the first video of many moving forward, as this type of gaming just seems to have exploded, and I can think of enough games already to do another video on. I hope this video in some way inspires you to try out these video games, as I'm sure you can tell I'm a huge fan. If you have any recommendations for me, then please feel free to comment, as I would love to hear from you. As usual, feel free to please like, share and subscribe, as I would really like to grow this channel as much as possible. Until next time, much love, be good to yourselves and each other, and get your geek on with JigRetro.